Okay, please tell me I'm not alone in this. Have you ever been staring at your phone, knowing that you should post something? Maybe you have something in your drafts or what you're supposed to be posting that day, but it just doesn't feel right. And the thought of social media honestly just makes you want to take a nap instead. I've been there. And listen, sometimes it's not social media that's exhausting, right? It's the way we've been doing it. And I'm going to get into it on this episode, but it's the way we approach it. Because we've been hustling to keep up, scrolling for quote unquote inspiration that then just turns into comparison. We are forcing ourselves into strategies that they don't feel good. And I'm all about like feeling good and having positive emotions about the way we approach things. So, what if showing up online didn't have to feel like such a heavy to do on our list? Today, I'm sharing 3 ways to bring back the fun into social media so you can stay consistent without burning out. Let's get into it. Hi, friend. Welcome to Content Marketing for Entrepreneurs. Want to market your business without burning out? Are you tired of spending way too much time just trying to stay consistent online? I'm Eugenia, but you can call me E. I'll show you how to create a sustainable way to show up online. Let's make content creation easier and way more fun. Grab your coffee and let's dive right in. By the way, did you know that there's a free community of entrepreneurs just like you wanting to show up confidently on social media without burning out? I share specific social media trainings, a lot of tips on hustle-free marketing strategies, advice on creating content that feels like you, and so much more. Come join us at ewucommunity.com. Okay, I promise this won't turn into a pregnancy podcast with every episode is a pregnancy story. Will it? Okay, just kidding. Kind of. I don't know. But seriously, when I found myself on this unexpected sabbatical thanks to my pregnancy, and if you don't know the story, go listen to episode 42. But basically, I was feeling so sick that I had to cut my work hours by more than half. And I just had time for a couple of clients, and everything else, including my own business, had to be put on pause. So, with taking this forced break came a lot of fear because I had been building my business for years at this point. So what if I lost my business? What if people just like forgot about me, right? I even struggle with shame because I was not being my regular productive self. And by the way, now looking back, I'm like, this is so unhealthy because before I got pregnant, I was working 10 to 12 hours a day and almost always on the weekend, always taking on a project. So at the time, it was like, oh, I'm being abnormal. And now I'm like, no, girl, that was not a regular rhythm. So needless to say, I was living in this hustle mode. And looking back, I think I was burnout. And early pregnancy, just the regular symptoms of pregnancy just made it worse. So when I started feeling better around week 17, I was hoping it would be first trimester only, but no, it was up until week 17, 18. I started thinking about coming back, but I was dreading it so much because I had paused everything. So I felt like I was going to go from 0 to 100. And I was also looking back and thinking back the many hours I was putting into my business, and I was just discouraged because there was no way I could go back to that rhythm. So I did a lot of reflection, and one thing I did is that I promised myself that I would come back whenever I felt ready, because in this season my priority was and well is my baby's health above all else. So I had to find a way to get away from that association of doing things the way I was doing them before and go back to thinking about these things like doing my podcast and showing up on social the way they were born, which is with fun and just creativity and some artistry behind it. And that's why I love it so much, and I've loved it so much for years. And granted, I already had a system to stay super consistent, and I was showing up confidently on social media. Like, that wasn't a problem. I was at the point of making some experiments with new formats, trying new things, trying new calendars. Like, that was fun to me, but I was really exhausted because I didn't have boundaries. That was a big one. And that lack of boundaries, that made social media feel so exhausting, to the point where just thinking about it felt super daunting. So today I'm sharing 3 ways in which you can make social media fun again if you are feeling overwhelmed or tired. And by the way, I'm reading this book. This is a side note, not in my outline, but I'm reading this book, Feel Good Productivity. And it shows so much research on the importance of feeling good and having just like a high and positive state of mind when you are doing things, and how that makes you more productive. So I was like, I'm onto something here. So the first way you can make social media fun again is to set boundaries. And I know that you've probably heard about this before, but simply put, boundaries are like taking the creative direction of your life. They are really important because they are the rules of a game or the frame of a painting. They keep things from turning into a chaos and building up resentment. They help us say things like, this works for me and this is what doesn't work for me. And many people think that boundaries are a fortress designed to keep people out, but in reality, they're more like the velvet rope outside of a theater, like creating order, creating a better experience. So that's how I want to invite you to look at boundaries. And this is so important because I love looking at social media as your stage. And please stay with me even if you're an introvert. You are the one who decides who gets a front row seat, who stays in general admission, who doesn't even get past the bouncer. You have this power as the producer of your play, right? Of your stage. Boundaries, they help you show up without burnout, without resentment, without feeling like you're performing for an audience you never invited. And let's be real, your creative energy is priceless. As an entrepreneur, you need your creative energy to have vision, to move the business forward. You cannot afford to lose your creative energy on smaller tasks or tasks that are important but are draining you from the energy you need to grow the business. So you need to decide when and how and where your creative energy gets shared. So there are many types of boundaries, but I recommend starting with strong time boundaries. They can make a huge difference. So give yourself a specific amount of time to plan and create your social media content. And with this, be realistic, because you need to understand what's the time you have available, and that's the time that you can allocate. Before, I was giving myself, in theory, 2 hours a week, and I would have my block of time where I was working on my content, but then I would always find myself either going above my allotted time, like, oh, I'm just gonna work for another hour and finish this, or making time during the weekend to finish what I didn't get to finish during the week. So, quote unquote, I was making the time and boundaries, but I was not respecting those boundaries. So maybe this means that you'll have to post fewer times a week. And sometimes we get stuck because we think, oh, I'm supposed to be posting 5 times a week. And that gives us so much anxiety. But in reality, we are not even posting twice a week consistently. So it is this paradox where we think about the ideal, and that ideal is preventing us from even doing the minimum. It's crazy how it works. Or maybe what you need to do, the time boundary you need to establish, is that you need to seriously reduce the amount of time you spend scrolling through social media looking for quote unquote inspiration, because that's dangerous. That can turn into hours of nothingness. So you need to evaluate what is it that you're spending your time on, and how can you set healthier boundaries that help you stay sane and have fun with your social media. The second way is to find your taste. And I'm getting a little artistic over here, but many of us don't take the time to figure out what we really like. And when we don't do that, when we don't know what we like, it's like just going to Target and getting all the pieces from the latest collection from Studio McGee because, they're cool, they're popular on Instagram, so I guess they'll work. But you've never asked yourself, is this my style? Do I like neutrals? Is this what I like, right? Just like with your space in this home decor example, maybe you don't like beige and white, like this beige influencer vibe is not your thing, and you keep adding elements, and then you're like, oh, why do I feel uninspired at home? No wonder you haven't taken the time to identify you just don't like those elements. So just like that, you need to sit down and find on social media what you like, what you gravitate towards, regardless of what the gurus and trends say. I'm not saying that they're wrong. They're really helpful because they're telling you, hey, this is what's trending. And it's up to you to choose, do I follow this trend or not? How can I adapt it? I have no problem with trends. The problem is when we feel like we have to take on these trends, even if they are not in our style, right? But if you are feeling exhausted and if you're just avoiding social media completely, maybe it's time to take a step back and find the things that you like, the things that feel interesting. Maybe this is not a season to go all in on trends and best practices, but just explore your voice on social media, do things that you like, and just build that consistency muscle. Granted, you need your time boundaries so you don't get, too into the weeds of this exploration. But it all starts with also knowing, what is my taste? What do I like? And the beauty of this exercise is that this is like building an element of play into your workflow. Because if we want to make social media fun again, we need to bring play back. I'm thinking Justin Timberlake, I'm bringing sexy back. I wish I was good at doing videos and making some type of meme of I'm bringing play back. But we need to bring play back and beauty back. And when I say beauty, I just mean this space where we just enjoy ourselves and it's captivating and it's motivating. And I'm a big proponent of adding structure to vision, but I think that it all starts with your vision. I don't believe in sticking to a structure without a clear vision or direction first. I don't believe in that. So play to be the art director of your own social media. So notice the things that inspire you versus the things that give you anxiety or make you compare. Ask yourself, what do you like? Create a folder called maybe My Taste and add random posts that you resonate with. And see examples from other creators. If they have bigger budgets, of course, it's fine. But identify, what do I like about this post? What can I replicate maybe on a smaller scale? Or maybe I don't like everything about this post, but there's something about this. Is it the colors, the lighting, the energy that I can replicate? And also follow people in different industries, because that's such a great way to get out of your soapbox of, oh, this is how every health coach is marketing their business. If you start looking at architecture and interior design, I'm in a clearly home nesting mode. Everything for me is interior design. But look at other examples from other industries and how you can draw from that inspiration to build your own taste. The third way to make content creation feel fun again is to go on a muting or unfollowing spree. I think unfollowing would be ideal, but I don't think it's realistic. So let's go with just muting. And this is a bit of an extension of the previous step, but you need to quiet the noise around you. You have too many people on your social media. And the reality is that when you are on social media to build a business, to be an entrepreneur, to share your vision, to be a leader, you are not just a passive consumer now, right? You're just not there to see what everyone's bringing to you, but you're there to be an active creator, to bring your vision forward, to be the leader of your vision. So you need to mute the things that are making you doubt or making you disconnected from that vision. When I was in my sabbatical, I literally didn't watch anyone from my industry. I would scroll past them. I couldn't. I was just watching beauty pageant related stuff. I was following politics. I was following a lot of fashion, a lot of pop culture, of course, a lot of baby and motherhood stuff. And if I noticed that anything made me stress or guilty about taking a break or having just different hours, I would just mute that person. And was I a little extreme? Maybe. That's my personality. But it truly worked wonders for my mental health. Like, it gave me so much clarity about the future of my brand and business. And that was an unexpected benefit. It's not like I muted people so I could get clarity on my business. It was just a consequence because I could hear myself think. So because the goal is to quiet the noise so you can hear your own voice better, literally mute as many people in your industry as possible for at least a month. And I know that we have to network. I know that we have to stay informed, but take a month to quiet the noise and just engage with the content that you enjoy, whatever it is that you enjoy. Maybe you're not like me and politics makes you feel super stressed and makes you hate social media even more. Maybe your thing is gardening, right? Whatever it is, trust that you already have the knowledge and information when it comes to your industry. You have that inside of you. And you don't need to look at what everyone else is doing to figure out what works for you. And this is an advice I got from my husband when he said, he told me this maybe a year ago. He said, you have so much information inside of you. I'm sure you have an incredible framework in your mind because you are always consuming something new and new ideas and new perspectives. You are not letting yourself sit with your own thoughts. And when he said that, I was like, yeah, sure. Blah, blah, blah. But when I took my sabbatical, I haven't told him this, but I was like, oh man, you were so right. So to recap, if you are feeling exhausted and overwhelmed with social media, here are 3 amazing ways to bring back the fun back to social. Number 1, set and keep boundaries, specifically time boundaries. Number 2, explore and take time to figure out what you like, understand your taste. And then number 3, go on a muting spree on social media and just engage with accounts outside of your industry if possible and outside of social media marketing for a month. I recommend a month to reconnect with those things you identified you like, with your taste. So try this out. Let me know how it goes. Remember that you can join my free community if you want to ask specific questions, you want more personalized advice. I would love to guide you as you reconnect with the fun of showing up on social. Please come join us at ewocommunity.com. I would love to see you there. That's a wrap on today's episode. If you loved it, don't keep it to yourself. Send it to a friend who's ready to show up confidently online without the burnout. Remember that sharing is caring. And if you want to make my day, please drop a quick review on Apple Podcasts because seriously, it means the world to know this show is helping you take the stage on social media with confidence. See you back here soon for the next one. Un beso.